Yo, what's good, basketball heads? It's your boy Crush. So the Philadelphia 76ers will offer Jimmy Butler a full max extension if he forces a trade from the Miami Heat. If I'm Philly, I am not giving Jimmy Butler a full max extension. Why? The man is 34 years old. He has so many more good years left in his prime. I say he probably has like one or two more really good years at his peak. And I don't know if that's enough time to win a championship. I know they're trying to pair him with Joel Embiid for the second time. And they would make a great duo because Jimmy Butler is going to bring leadership. He's a hard nose. He's a dog. We know all that. So it would be a great pairing. We have seen it before a few years ago. So we know what to expect. But my issue is age. The man is 34. Am I going to invest in Jimmy Butler at 34? If we are talking about a 2 years contract, then I would do it. That's a great deal. But if we're talking like 4 or 5 years, I can't do it. That's too much because he's 34. So anything above 2 years is too much for me at least. But if you're saying 2 years, we're going to pay you good money for 2 seasons, I'm with it. I'm all for it. Because I think Joel Embiid needs somebody like Jimmy Butler. He's a dog. You know what you're going to get in the playoff. If he's not injured, you know what you're going to get. You will never question Jimmy Butler's heart and his mentality. You will never question that. So it would be a great reunion for Joel Embiid and for Philly. So Philly's trying to get Jimmy Butler in a trade. But Jimmy Butler, he is their fallback option. They're really trying to get Paul George. But if they're unable to get Paul George this summer, they're going to go after Jimmy Butler. And like I said, it depends on the contract. If we're talking 2 seasons, then it's a great situation. I'm all for it. It all depends on the contract, how long it's going to be, how many years is on the contract. Because you don't want to be tied up with a guy that's 37, 38. That wouldn't be a good situation. If they could get Jimmy Butler for 2 seasons, I think that's a great situation. 3 seasons, yeah, that's not too bad also maybe. But anything beyond 3 seasons, that's a no-go. I wouldn't do it. But Jimmy Butler, once again, he's their fallback option. They're really trying to acquire Paul George this summer in free agency. And I'm sure a lot of team is going to go after Paul George. He's also 34. But the difference between Jimmy Butler and Paul George is their abilities. Paul George could shoot the 3. He has more range. Jimmy Butler is more of a mid-range inside player. Paul George could play anywhere. Perimeter, mid-range, inside. But the difference is Jimmy Butler has more heart and he is proven. He haven't won a championship, but he have taken Miami to 2 finals in 4 seasons. That's amazing. The roster he's able to take to the finals is insane. If this man had a legit second star or a legit number 1, he would have won a championship already. Even though Jimmy Butler is a dog, he's a dog. But I don't feel like he's a number 1. Yes, he could get you to the finals. He's that great. He can. But I feel like he would be a great number 2. Or if he's a number 1, he would need a great number 1, just as good. This is why acquiring Damian Lillard a summer ago would have made sense. Because now you would have offense. That's all they need. Somebody else who could put the ball in the basket, But Miami tried to lowball Portland. They figured they could get Dame for the cheap, and they missed out on a great opportunity. And now Dame is in Milwaukee. But that's another story. So right now, Paul George, he's a top target for the 76ers. They're really trying to get this dude, man, to pair him with Joel Embiid and an upcoming star in Maxey. And I think that's a great look. That would be a great look, man, because Tobias Harris, he ain't it, man. He's a pretty good player, but he's just not it. In the playoff, when it matters, he's just not reliable. And I'm not saying Paul George is proven either because he haven't won anything, But he would be a great pairing to go alongside Joel Embiid and a young Tyrese Maxey. So the 76ers, they're pursuing him. And, they're hoping this summer they could possibly snag PG. And I'm sure a lot of teams are going to also be pursuing PG. So this summer is going to be crazy. We're going to see what happens, man. What transpires between the Philadelphia 76ers, Paul George, Jimmy Butler, the whole situation. So, there's been rumors that Paul George might be leaving the Clippers, leaving LA. They were unable to come to a contract agreement, an extension. So he's on the market this summer. And a lot of teams, they got their eyes open, their antennas up, because if you could add Paul George to your roster, that's a lot of offensive firepower. If you're trying to make it to the finals, or you're trying to bolster your roster, that's a lot of offensive firepower. And we all know Jimmy Butler is the heart and soul of Miami. Jimmy Butler is the Miami Heat. Yes, they have Bam Adebayo, but Jimmy Butler is the engine. Without Jimmy, they're not winning. They're not making it to 2 finals in 4 seasons. Without Jimmy, we know about playoff Jimmy. So Jimmy is legit. When he's healthy, when Jimmy's healthy, he is legit. He's a baller. So I can understand why he's the fallback plan for Philly. If we can't get PG, we're going to try to work out a deal so we can snag Jimmy. Honestly, I feel like it's the end of the road for Miami. Jimmy's 34. He's only getting older. If they could make a trade with Philly and get back some assets and, pieces, then so be it. You might as well jump at the opportunity. And after multiple failed playoff runs, there's noise in Miami. Of course, they're going to be, they're going to be a little bit of ruckus in the organization trying to figure out, should we move off Jimmy and start rebuilding, or should we continue with the same situation? They have been to 2 finals and lost both times. Lost all of them. No one's fault. The team just wasn't good enough as far as talent. They never had enough offense. That's always been their issue for 4 or 5 seasons. It's not defense. It's not grit. It's not coaching. It's offense. And in 2018, 2019, before Jimmy Butler went to Miami, he played 55 games for the 76ers, and he was arguably the second best player behind Joel Embiid, with averages of 18.2 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 4 assists per game on 46% shooting. Plus, he brings that grit. He's a dog. He brings the mentality. He brings the heart. And Philly could use that, man. And him and Joel Embiid, they get along pretty well. They're pretty cool. So a reunion wouldn't be a bad situation at all. But we are going to see what happened, what transpired this upcoming summer. But as always, I'll holla. As always, we just talking basketball. Hit the subscribe button, like, comment, share. Holla at your boy.
It's all about the game and how you play it. It's all about the game. I'ma say it. It's all about the game.